Think about this. We don't even know what our sexual nature is about. We're just told we better not go out there and create with it, right? You better not go out there and make no babies. And then the next conversation we have is, oh, how good was it, baby?
Positive energy and good vibrations from me to you. You have now tuned in to Imperfect Fathers Podcast.
Positive energy and good vibrations. What it do, family? Welcome to another dope episode of the Imperfect Fathers Podcast, where we are dedicated and designed to helping fathers heal and build confidence successfully as men, husbands, and fathers. I am your host, RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman, and in this episode, we'll be talking about our sexual nature, all the things they did not tell us about it, right? There are so many conversations we did not have as men about our sexuality that we're going to discuss on this episode. But you guys know, before we do anything around here, we must do things, what? With decency and in order. We have to take care of our things we must do, our responsibilities, and then we'll head right into the conversation. You guys know on this beautiful podcast, I have to take care of, and normally my son has a cameo. He must come through and show his face for. So with that being said, hey, Joe, you're on this camera right here, Bobby, this one. You say what's up? No, what you doing grabbing, bro? You want to see that camera? Get out of here, boy. Let daddy finish working. Here we go. I love you. See you later. Well, he did his cameo for the episode. You guys know, at least once an episode, your boy Josiah is going to pull up and do his 1-2. So there you go. So now let's get back to our protocol. What that is talking to the Father before we get started in this podcast. So with that being said, gracious and eternal God, thank you for our life, our health, our strength. God, we thank you for everything that we take for granted every single day. Right now in this moment, we want to take collectively, we thank you. Because we know without your oxygen flowing through our lungs, without the blood warm through our veins, God, we could not exist. So right now, God, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank the giver of the gift. So right now, Father, we want to say thank you. And actually right now, God, we want to ask you to watch over me as I go across the airways, that I may say something to be a vessel to help inspire, motivate, and encourage a man to be the best version of himself, God, for right now and for generations to come. These are my prayers for you in the matchless name of the Most High. Amen. All right. So now we got that out the way. We got our responsibilities taken care of. Let's get to the portion of the show that I have grown to love and I've had some great feedback about. So I'm going to keep this up. You guys are actually liking and appreciating the watch and respond portion of the show. So I'm going to keep it up. And this week's episode, I must be honest, guys, I got to keep it real with you. This content that I'm going to respond to this week, it may be triggering. I just got to put it out there. It may be triggering to some because it's pretty graphic, right? And it's pretty heart-wrenching and all those things. But I ask you, if you can, right? If you can stomach it, please stick through to the end of it, because my outlook on it, I hope that I'm gonna bring some kind of outlook on it that can help someone that may be going through a situation or the circumstances currently. So please, like I said, if you can, make it through it. I'm not trying to trigger you, but it is a very triggering topic. So with that being said,
I want you to focus. I want you to focus. All my life, you're not doing shit. Stop playing, you're not doing shit. So what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? You see. No, do it. Nigga, beat my ass. Beat my motherfucking. Go ahead, beat my ass right now. Go ahead. Go ahead, beat my ass. Ricky. I don't know what the fuck your problem is. You wanna break it down? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, break the other one. You want to do that? I don't know what the fuck your problem is. But go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Yep. You don't give a fuck? You're not touching me. I'm not touching you? You're not touching me. And then no, Ricky, beat my ass. I'm begging you to beat my ass. Go ahead, nigga, beat beat my ass today. No. You want to beat my, Ricky, I'm standing right here and I haven't moved. Beat my motherfucking ass in this house. Go ahead. Go. No. You want to fucking, no. Beat, I'm standing. Don't tell me to come nowhere.
Fuck out of here, you're not doing shit.
Don't tell me to come. No, don't tell me. No, nigga, come beat my ass. Come beat my ass right now. Beat my motherfucking ass. I want you to. Listen, come here. You come here. You want to beat my ass, nigga. You come here and beat my ass. That's all I ask you to do. That's no. That's all I ask you to do. Okay, what? Ricky, come beat my ass. Come beat my ass. Yo, nigga, come beat my ass. No, come on. I'm begging you to beat my ass today. Come do it. Come do it. No, you're not leaving this house. No.
Watch out.
No.
Watch the fuck out.
Nope.
Watch out.
No, beat my ass. Go ahead. No, beat my ass. Go ahead. I'm taking you. Fuck you.
Like I said, that was very, very intense. But let me start off by saying what I always say. Fathers are essential in the household raising young men, raising children, period. But they're even more so essential when it comes to raising young boys to be men. That right there was a regular case of a father missing in the home. Now, there are a few things that I took note of when I was watching that I wanted to bring to their attention. And before I go and address anything else, I want to take this moment to address the people that automatically said he just needs his ass kicked. I was reading that a lot in the comments. It's funny to me how that's the first thing that comes to their mind when they see a young man in this manner. They feel they should just beat him. It's crazy because I don't know any logic in that, right? This young man is actually being aggressive. He's being overly aggressive, meaning that there's something wrong with him, right? He's lacking something. But the first thought is to beat him. And I would even say that anyone that said that he should be beat right now, you should check your thought process and your theory. Let me explain why. Because your theory of beating him probably got him the way he is right now. He seems to be in his teens at this point. He seems to be about in his teenage years. His body's starting to fill out. He's starting to get a little stronger, and he's feeling his testosterone right now. And he's angry. To me, it seems that he's already been beaten before. Like, I can tell that just by his behavior, he's already been beaten before. I'm not saying that the young boys don't, it's not a certain place and way where you discipline them, and sometimes physical discipline is necessary. I'm not negating that. But in this case right now, this young boy has so much rage and anger inside of him that there's something wrong. It's not just his quote unquote behavior right now. It's not just what he's showing forth right now to be his actions that we should only be addressing. This young man has anger issues. And if anybody knows anything about anger is only the surface. It seems to be like he's hurting and he can't express himself in the way that he needs to. And a lot of times that's what our young boys do. When we can't express ourselves, we show our anger through rage, right? We show our emotions in a violent way. And the only reason we do that because we truly don't know how to express ourselves. And this young man here clearly does not know how to express what he's truly feeling and what he's going through right now, whether it be he's never seen it emulated or never been taught these things. In this space right now, he does not know how to show his emotions in any other way other than the way he's showed in this video. Now, one of the things I see is that this young man's anger issues is deeper than the surface. Like I said, like I said, I don't know this young boy. I don't know this mom. I don't know them at all. So let's put that out there off the rip. I don't know them whatsoever. All right, let's put that out there. I'm watching this video like you are, and from my vision, right, I don't see any man in the video, and I'm assuming by this young boy's behavior, there isn't a man in the household, right? So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with the fact of I don't see a man in this video, so that means there's no man in this home right now. I'm gonna go with saying that, right? Now, this young man needs a role model. He needs someone to show him how to be able to express himself. If he's upset, there's a proper way to be upset, right? There's a proper way to show that you're angry on all levels, right, of life. Just because you're a child doesn't mean you can't be angry or you can't be upset. Even children, they have emotions, they have feelings like everyone else. Those should be respected. Everybody has feelings and emotions. Let's just get that out there. This young boy obviously does not know how to express them, and also he does not know what is either, what's the word I'm looking for? Acceptable and not acceptable, right? See, the thing about it is he's behaving and lashing out as if those things he's seen on television, right? He's probably seen some of his other friends, somebody other lash out. The behavior he's exuding, it's typical angry black man behavior. He's banging his hands, he's throwing stuff. He's probably seen this behavior 100 times over, whether it be the man in the house or the lack thereof. This young boy is exuding behaviors that he's only seen and watched and learned. The behaviors he's exuding is not natural behaviors. Those are not natural behaviors to where you just want to demolish the place that you stay in. That young boy is showing behaviors of which someone taught him. He's seen somewhere. Number two, the last thing before we move on, I also want to say I see a tired mother, right? I see a mother who is exhausted with her responsibilities of being a mother, because every time I heard her speak in the video, it was basically, I felt like she was talking to a man on the street, basically telling me that she's physically tired of her space as a mom right now, and she doesn't know how to confront this young man's anger. And this happens a lot more than we like to admit. When our young boys go from being our little young boys until they start growing into this masculine man that they're looking to become, as myself at this stage, they're looking to learn how to become a man. But guess what? When they don't see one, they only can do what their brain and they've seen emulated in front of them. So if they've seen a man lash out and just be an angry man, that's the behavior they're going to have. So now guess what? This mother has a young boy who does not know how to express himself in a clear and effective way. Now he's lashing out and showing her the behavior that he's learned. Now she does not know how to deal with this behavior. Mom is stressed out. She just challenged this young boy on multiple times. Well, if you want to fight me, come get me. Come F me up is what she kept saying. And on no levels should any parent be challenging or to fight or go after their own child or have their child come after them. Now, sadly, at the end of this video, it did seem to get physical where the camera got messed up and we only could hear certain things. I really pray and to hope and pray that this young man and his mother did not get physical in there and they did not hurt each other in no shape, form, or fashion. One thing I can say is like this is one of the main reasons, y'all, where I say that fathers are important. Yes, fathers are important, because if I myself, as the man that I am, and was in that situation, and first of all, my son knows better because I'm present, right? That's just the bare natural facts. My son wouldn't dare because he knows what time it is with his dad. He knows I'm not tolerating that. But let's just say for whatever reason, Joe gets older and he decides he wants to exude this behavior. He wants to lash out on his mother and do things of this such. I wouldn't even let it transpire. I would simply get out of wherever I was at, make my way into that situation, remove her from that situation, close the door with my son, and have him understand that there's a certain way you talk to your mother and there's a certain way you do not speak to your mother. And from there, I would then also give my wife the space and air that she needs to gather her thoughts, right? Because at the end of the day, they're human. Women are human, men are human. We're all human. So we all have our things that we need to take care of, and we need our space to ourselves sometimes to gather our thoughts. So that's exactly what I would do. Your baby, you know what? You're a little hot right now. Go ahead and go do what you need to do right now to relieve yourself, because I get it. He's a lot right now. You need your space, because this is what we as fathers are meant for, right? This is why we're here, to intervene in moments like that. Because yeah, there are moments in the household where things get hotter under the collar with certain people, right? Whether it be between mom and dad and the kids and mom, any dynamic inside of the household, we know it can get crazy. It can get a little live, right? It can get a little spicy. Understandable. But there has to be some kind of order and some kind of protocol when things get a little testy, right? And that's what a father is for. That's what a head of the household is for, to come in and bring order. And then right there, in that case, guys, it's proof in the pudding that, yes, I know that a lot of people are going to come on my neck for saying this, but I don't give a damn what none of y'all say. Fathers are necessary, and we are essential to the household and to the upbringing of the children. Period. Point blank. Now, let's get up out of there, y'all. We about to head over to the basketball talk right now. because I realized I didn't want to stay on that too long because I know I can dive in and go into that for hours. But anyway, let's talk basketball this week. I want to take this time right now to say a special shout out to my guy, Udonis Haslem, because he's calling it quits after 20 years, y'all. But not just 20 years, 20 years for the same team, 20 years for the Miami Heat. So let's take this moment and give a special shout out to our guy, Udonis Haslem, for retiring for 20 years of the Miami Heat. Man, we appreciate you, man. Yes, indeed, my guy. We appreciate all the memories. We appreciate all the great times that you have provided with us as basketball enthusiasts and basketball lovers. We appreciate everything you brought to the game, your toughness, your tenacity, your grit, and just your level of OG. You know what I mean? Because these days, everyone that's come through the NBA and as well as the Miami Heat, they know who you are and what you stand for. And because you've been in Miami Heat for the last 20 years, you've been able to hold the culture down and create an environment in Miami of toughness and just a winning mentality. So Udonis, man, I appreciate you myself. I know the rest of the NBA world appreciate you as well, man. Go out there and take care of the rest of your endeavors as a businessman. If you guys don't know, he's down in Miami doing a lot of things for the community. So go check him out. Go follow him on Instagram. Udonis Haslem, man. Like I said again, I appreciate you. Keep doing your thing out there, my boy. And so now, being at the NBA right now is a little slow right now, and we're in that little transition season, like off season of the league right now. I don't really want to talk about too many more free signings and too many more agents and all that. I actually want to talk about a different brand of basketball right now, right? Not just in the NBA. Let's talk about the big three, right? Shout out to my guy, Ice Cube. He is doing his thing. This league, at first, people were saying that this league wasn't going to make a year, 2, 3 years, and they are doing their thing. I don't know how many seasons they're right now. I think they're probably close to 10 seasons now, if I'm not mistaken, but they're doing their thing. And it was a comment that was on shout out to my man Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and they were talking about how the big three was looking to connect with the NBA, pretty much merge and have like once the NBA players are done, have them just basically slide over if they want to continue to hoop and just hoop in an easier way for them in their older age at the big three. And there was a little conflict, right? There was a little back and forth between the NBA and people that work for the big three and Ice Cube and all those things. So it was a little bit of a fisticuff between the two. And I'm actually really intrigued to see what's going to happen between the two, man, because to be honest, my own personal opinion is that the big three is really, really good for basketball. I know my man Kenyon Martin, he said that he doesn't like the fact that they're bringing in players that weren't quote unquote professionals in the NBA, or they're bringing too many guys from overseas. But just from watching the actual brand of basketball that the big three is putting up, I enjoy it, because what it's also giving is giving young guys from different parts of the world an outlook and a better outlook and more exposure for their ability to play basketball. Special shout out to my man Hezzy God. That guy he's going crazy. He went to the big three and broke the scoring record. And the truth of the matter, people were just calling him just a YouTuber, right? A YouTuber. He wasn't even considered to be a good basketball player. It kills me when I hear people talk about the people who play basketball and record the content and put it on YouTube and just call them YouTubers. Yo, these guys could actually play basketball, right? They're not going to places and setting up the content to where they're just exposing bad players and just going against bad talent. They're going to different states and different cities and towns and actually hooping. Right. So I also want to take this moment to give Next Chapter a special shout out. I've been watching a lot of their basketball content lately, and I am really impressed with the content, the layout, the brand of basketball. So what they're doing is, if you guys don't know, it's a dope brand of basketball because it's 5-on-5, and then they have 1-on-1 exhibitions after it. So anybody you've matched up during the game and it gets a little tested between you and that person, they have a 1-on-1 between you and that person. And then they go to different cities and they have 1-on-1 tournaments. It's really, really dope, man. I advise anyone who loves basketball, who just wants to see a different style of it, go check those guys out over at Next Chapter, as well as Ball is Life, yo. Like the internet basketball is here to stay. I don't know what nobody's talking about, and I don't care what y'all talking about out here in these streets. Yo, I'm really getting behind these young guns in this internet basketball world, because actually it's pretty dope, man. So I'm an old head that's getting behind the young guns, man, in this basketball community. So I appreciate what you guys doing at Ballers Life, East Coast, West Coast. I haven't really tapped in and subscribed to the Midwest because I'm sorry, guys. I just haven't. I'm gonna keep it stacked. But the truth is, I enjoy the brand of basketball you guys are putting out, and I really, really hope that everyone out there gives you guys a chance to just show your skills and to show things that you guys got going on out here. Before I go as well, there are so many things about basketball that I love, right? But one of the things I love about basketball is that it brings together a bunch of like-minded individuals that just want to leave their troubles behind and have fun and camaraderie around this one sport, this one round object. Around this basketball, so many relationships are formed, and there's so many great unions that come about because of basketball. And let me tell y'all something. In my lifetime, because of the game of basketball, I've been blessed to be able to go different places, states, countries, and different places to be able to play and just be a part of different groups with different groups of individuals who are really, really special and dope. I want to take this moment to say thank you to those guys over at Tamaracks League. I play for a league right over in Tamarack, over in South Florida. And in this league, there's so many dope individuals, so many guys that I've had the opportunity to grow relationships with and just build bonds with, man. So I want to take this opportunity to give all those guys over at Tamarack a special shout out. My guy Mario, Roper, Bruce, Chris, I'm forgetting names right now. Javi, Sal, Gel, my man Hezzy Plus. You know got love for you, King. My man Doc. Yo, listen, there's so many of y'all fellas, man. I appreciate you, Zach, both Marios. Like I said, I just want to say a special thank you to each and every one of y'all because you guys know in the last few months I've been going through some tough times in my life and my family and in business. So there are some things that I've been needing help with, and these guys have come to my rescue. And I really, really appreciate each and every one of you guys, man. Thank you 100 times more. And you guys know, without a shadow of a doubt, that I'm coming back to be up at y'all next, up at the next season of Men's League. So with that being said, I just want to give a special shout out, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. All right. So now let's get to the main topic today, y'all. Let's get to it. All right. So now we're going to talk this week about transforming our sexual energy, right? Now let's just talk about our sexual energy for starters, right? As a young boy, I can remember just around the ages between 7 and 10, right? My body just changing, and for some reason or another, this part of my body that never really caused any sensation and never really caused me any thought process is now starting to take over my brain now, right? I remember that. I remember like it was yesterday. And it's funny because my nephew was just here. Shout out to Valentino. He was just here and he's around the age of 9 and 10. And I remember around the age, just looking at him and just seeing the structure of his body, how big he's gotten. It just brought me back to that age and space of my life. And it reminded me of all the things that I was going through and I was thinking in that space. I was thinking to myself, like, man, at that age, I was going through a lot hormonally, right? Like my body was talking to me in ways that it had never spoken to me before. With all that happening to me, right? I'm moving, I'm grooving throughout life. Now, I don't have anyone to have these conversations with about what's going on with my body, right? As most of us young men don't, especially us individuals who weren't fathered. We didn't have anyone to have this conversation about. It's like, yo, listen, why is this thing in my pants standing up, right? Like, what is this about? Like, why does this thing all of it, like, I'm starting to wake up in the morning and it's standing up. Why is it doing that, right? And it may sound comical to some, right? It may sound funny, but the truth of the matter is there are so many young boys that are going through this, and there's so many men who went through this and really don't understand what's going on with their body, right? Why they're getting this erection, why they're standing up all of a sudden. And because we don't have conversations about this, we learn things through television, right? We learn things through conversations with our homeboys, right? We learn things through passings of hearing adult conversations. This is how we learn what our bodies are supposed to do as young boys, right? This is crazy. Check this out. I had this epiphany the other day, and it really stopped me in my thoughts. And I had to really grasp this idea. But I want you to think about this for a sec. Most young boys' first conversation about sex is a threat. Yeah. The first conversation most young boys have with their parents or anybody is normally a threat. And it normally goes something like this. Boy, you better not bring nobody in this house pregnant. You better not bring no babies in this house. I'm not taking care of none of your responsibilities. You better handle your business, and you better not get no girl pregnant. First conversation, right? Now, mind you, you don't even know how to get the girl pregnant. You don't even know, most of us don't even know what the word pregnant means, right? We're just scared now, like, man, I'm not trying to bring no baby in here. I don't even listen. I don't want that smoke, right? That was me. And majority of most men that I actually coach and counsel, this is how they experience their first conversation about sex. Now, check this out. Their very next conversation about sex. Let's talk about the very next conversation. You know, the very next conversation that we have about having sex is about how good it was or how good it wasn't to either the woman we was with, the girl we was with, or to our homeboys because we're bragging, talking about how good we think we did. That's the only two conversations that happen before and after our sexual activities. And when I had this epiphany, when I thought process, I had to go around and start asking different men. And every man that I asked this question to, their eyes widen and they begin to think like, oh my God, you're right. Because think about this, y'all. If we have our first conversation, it's not about what we have, how we're supposed to use it, the proper way to use it. Number one, shout out to Pastor Miles Monroe. Shout out to him. He has a quote that he says that if you don't know what something is meant for, you're prone to abuse it, which is true. Think about this. We don't even know what our sexual nature is about. We're just told we better not go out there and create with it, right? You better not go out there and make no babies. And then the next conversation we have is, oh, how good was it, baby? I put that thing down, right? Or I laid her down. You feel me? I put it on her. These are the conversations about our sexuality, y'all. Think about that for a second. And we wonder why we're so messed up as individuals when it comes down to this. Because, yo, listen, one thing I've learned about our sexuality is that, yo, it's a lot more powerful than just busting a nut. Hear me good, kings. Yo, our sexuality is way more than just releasing and getting a good feeling. Once I had this thought, right, I began to go down this rabbit hole of thought process about actual semen retention, right? And what it does, right? Because here I am, like most of us going through our lives, just giving it away freely, just having sex, just, hey, let me just give this away, right? And then when I'm not having sex because I'm so addicted to the sexuality now, I'm masturbating, right? I'm over here relieving myself and just spilling seed now, right? I'm just giving my seed away for absolutely no reason. I'm wasting seed for absolutely no reason. And now I'm abusing what? My sexuality. I'm abusing the gift that God has given to me because I don't know no better, right? I don't even know what this thing is for. I was never taught. I was never explained. Only thing I know is that it's supposed to help me relieve when I got to go pee, and it's supposed to get me pleasure. That's all I know about this thing. And I know I better not use it to create no babies. But see, there are so many other things about our nature that they didn't tell us, y'all. There are two ways that we normally learn about sex, either through porn or an experience. That's it. Majority of times, we learn our sexual behaviors through watching it on pornographic videos or having encounters with other women. This is how we learn. This is how most of us men have learned about sex. The truth of the matter is, when we talk about the experience part, there's two sides to that. There's the wanted side and there's the unwanted side. There's some of us who willingly gave our sexuality and our virginity away with no problem. We gave it away willingly, right? Like, here, take these and you can have it because we're cool with it. But there are some of us that lost our virginity and our sexuality was taken from us. It sounds kind of funny, especially us real macho men who believe that men just can't be taken advantage of or can't be raped because it just doesn't compute through our masculine mind, right? But the truth is, there are some young men out there, some young boys who had their sexuality taken from them, who had their innocence snatched from them, whether it be a woman, a man, whatever have you. That's the truth of the matter. So now you adding trauma into this. Our sexuality has never been explained to us. We've encountered it before we learned how to use it. And after we've encountered it, we now have no counsel about it because we can't talk to anyone about it. We can't speak to any of our elders anyone that's above us about this now, because we're gonna get shunned, right? We're gonna get either lashed out on. We're not gonna get taught. We're gonna get just spoken at, and rather than taught and spoken to. So we then just harbor all these incidents and everything we all questions we have, and we just walk through life just having them, right? Just having these thought processes and just having this mindset without being checked, right? And then we wonder why there's so many men out here who are lost sexually, right? Because we don't even know how to use it, and we wasn't taught, and then we had the experience, and we didn't even understand the experience. I said this a long time ago in one of my podcasts, is that it's funny because we know how to have sex, but we don't know how to have relations, right? We know how to create life, but we don't know how to maintain the relationship between the life that's already here. Where everything's around us is sexualized. It's amazing how you can't even check the food commercials these days without the food even being sexually sold. Like, what is that? It's it's one of those TV dinners, right? I forget the name of the company, but it's one of those TV dinners where the person is scooping the food, and the music and the way they're talking is very seductive, and they're smacking the food with the fork very sexually. Like it's borderline weird if you ask me, right? But the truth of the matter is, sex will sell everything in this day and age. We have all this coming at us, right? We have all this coming at us about our sexuality, and we don't even know the power about this. Now, check this out, fellas. If the semen that we have in our body, right? If the energy that we have that comes through our loins and comes out of our body, it's a life force. It produces life. The substance that comes from the area of our body that gives us so much pleasure when it happens, that substance gives life. If it's that powerful to produce life, imagine what it would do for us if we retained it. Imagine of all the benefits you would have in your body if you just kept it. Now, let me tell you something. I know this is not going to be a popular episode for the algorithm and all that, because they might not want to promote this, because they can't have too many of us men out walking around here woke and conscious about our life force and really benefiting from all the benefits of retaining it. They don't really want that, because the truth is, if a lot more of us was understanding that, our seed is more beneficial inside of us than us just wasting it, we got to make sure that we understand that our bodies are temples, number one, right? They're temples, and they're made in the image of God. So everything about our body is godly, especially the force that's within it that we use to create life. See, when God said he made us in his image and his likeness, that's what he meant. He gave us the ability to create life. And that substance between our legs, guys, is life force. It's the energy that we give to the earth to produce another life. So understand that it's not just something to be wasted. Because one thing I know about God is that he doesn't give things to people that just want them. He gives it to you because you're a good steward of them, and you're able to be a good steward over the thing he's giving you. And if you're not able to be a good steward, and let me tell y'all something, I'm telling y'all from my own experience. The moment I realized that, I have to first be more responsible with the resource that God has given me, first and foremost, which is the life force within my body. That's a resource. I can't just be sitting here spilling it out just willy-nilly, right? Watching the corn and masturbating and doing all those things and just wasting my life force. It's not a healthy way of living. Number one. Number two, it is not responsible, right? You're not being resourceful with your resource. You're not being responsible with your resource. And that's what we have to understand, guys, that the force that we have in our body, if we use that correctly, let's talking about the right way of using our sexual nature, y'all, which they don't want us to really do. They really don't want us to learn about this, because let me tell y'all, the more we learn about our sexual nature and be able to control that and use that and harness that the right way, man, we cannot be controlled. We cannot be dominated. And that's what they're scared of. They do not want us to, in our mind and our thought process, and be more conscious. And how does that happen? By understanding that the force that we have in our body, we have to use and maintain correctly, right? We have to maintain our body. We have to maintain the fluid and the life force in it, because that's where our true power comes from. Let me explain the thought process that I came across this week, and it really, really freed me. I was doing my research on the sexualities of men, and just going back in history books and just seeing what's up with our sexuality, right? The energy, our sexual energy. Why is it so powerful? Why does it have such a strong hold on so many of us men today? Me, myself, personally, as an individual who's always had a very, very high sex drive, I thought to myself like there was something wrong with me. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I really thought at some point that I was a sexual individual that just had an addiction to sex that I could not shake. Because it would be times in my young adult years that while I was single, let's put that out there, while I was single, that I would just have sex multiple times a day. And I just could not seem to satisfy this urge. And I thought there was something wrong with me, right? So instead of having a conversation about my sexuality with someone else, I did what they told us we should do if we want to have sex. You know what that is? Guess. Yes, you guessed it. I got married. Yep. I got married. I know, right? I thought to myself that if I got married, I could have legitimized sex, and then it would just I could just satisfy the urge whenever I wanted, and I'll be just fine. And let me tell y'all what I come to find out. I come to find out if you get married to have sex alone, you will be divorced before you know it. Let me tell you why. Because a marriage is a lot more than sex. And if you're going into marriage, I'm talking to the men especially right now. If you're going into marriage and looking just to have sex and satisfy the needs you had while you were single, I'm here to tell you, you're going to be very, very disappointed. Number one, there isn't any way possible that one woman, one vagina, one female's body is going to be able to satisfy and do the things that multiple vaginas and multiple women were doing before this. It's impossible. There's no way. And how do I know that? Experience. See, I went into my marriage thinking to myself, well, I can have sex all the time. I thought to myself that, well, listen, we could just have sex, right? Now it's legal in the sight of God, right? But the truth of the matter is, that's not a good reason to get married. And I found out shortly afterwards that it's impossible for one woman to satisfy you in a way that multiple women will satisfy you throughout a week. It's impossible. And it's not fair to one woman to try to put her body through that, because there's no way in the world that a woman's body can take that abuse on a consistent basis day after day after day after day. It's impossible. I had to understand that before I blamed my wife on not being able to please me, right? Or not giving me the sexual escapades that I desire and blow my mind sexually all the time. I had to check myself first. I had to understand, like, every time that I get an erection, that doesn't mean I'm supposed to go stick it in her, right? It doesn't mean I'm supposed to go pleasure myself with her body, right? Understand this, fellas, and this is a very important point. Every erection you have does not need to be satisfied sexually. Every erection does not have to be satisfied with release. And this is the point of this episode. Do you understand that every time you have an erection, you can turn that around and use that energy for something else? See, they don't teach us this. They don't teach us this. Now, fellas, I learned something about even myself, my sexual energy, that I know is going to help you guys. Listen, in the morning, when you wake up with that morning wood, you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's not act silly out here in these streets now. Y'all know about that morning wood. Instead of rolling over trying to poke on your wife, now don't get it twisted. Some morning, handle your business. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not coming on this podcast to sit here and pretend like I'm not trying to get down with the cheeks. You hear me? And I do preach cheek clapping. I am a professional cheek clapper. You hear me? Like, yes, I do preach the cheek clapping. But what I'm saying is this, fellas, in all seriousness, that morning erection, right? When you wake up in the morning, you just see like the life force inside of you. Go work out, go lift weights, do some push-ups, right? Go use the energy to start writing, to go create something. So what we don't realize is that every great man in all of our history has had a very, very high sex drive. Check it out. This is not my theory. This is actual fact. Every great man who's done any great thing in history has had a very high sex drive. That's not a coincidence. To me, that's no coincidence. Every man in history who's done anything great has had a high sex drive. That just tells me that there's something other than sex that this energy is made for, right? It's not just a sexual energy. It's an energy that we can use to be great in life, right? To go out and conquer. See, yo, listen, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. And I'm gonna be very transparent. When I was sitting home, wasting my life force, just masturbating and just giving it away, and just being overly sexual and just want to keep releasing all day long, I was weak mentally, physically, and emotionally, right? I didn't want to do anything. I was extremely lazy. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. I simply was just wasting away, because what I didn't realize is that energy that I was just giving away, that I was just wasting all the time, was actually the substance that I need to get through, right? For all those tough times in life, right? When we feel so bogged down and we feel so restricted and we feel like we can't get through and we're looking for some resilience, a lot of the times, yo, the resilience that we need is somewhere on the floor somewhere, because we spilled our seed. There's so much power inside of our life force that we have to understand. Like, it's so much more than just sexual release that comes from it. It's so much more powerful than that. It's so much more potent than just a 2-second release of ecstasy, right? It's so much more powerful than just some dopamine drips. If we can understand what this force in our body really means to us and our society, we would hold it to more reverence. We would understand our energy is to be used more proficiently than just to spill our seed or just waste it, having frivolous and pointless sex. Now let me get, like, I'm wanting to tell you that I understand, right? I understand. You weren't taught. No one told you that, yo, listen, every erection does not need to be satisfied with a release. Nobody told you that. I get it. But see, it's not about what you knew. It's about what you know going forward, right? We have to unlearn some things and relearn some new things to be a better versions of ourselves. And this is just one of those things, guys. Our sexuality is just way more than just a release. And when we begin to realize that our sexuality is way more than just our urge to release and have that feeling of ecstasy, and we start operating and chasing purpose, oh man, you'll realize that life force, it gives you way more energy and way more the resilience that you need to fight through the things of life. Because let me tell y'all, I say it before and I'm gonna say it again, life has hands, huh? Life got them paws. And if you ain't got the resilience, if you don't have the wherewithal to withstand what goes on, and you're not connected to the source, listen, you will fold. You will be just another one that get washed away in the wind. You'll just be another individual who gets washed away with all the rest of the people who does not have self-control and does not want anything else for their lives. Now, family, I'm telling y'all this because I'm leveling up. And I thought to myself, what was some of the main points of me leveling up, especially building my confidence to where I am now? And one of the main factors of me building my confidence was me understanding the value within my loins, right? When I begin to understand the value of the life force that I possess, my self-worth begins to increase. My confidence begins to increase. Why? Because I'm more competent about what I have, right? Who I am, what I'm about, the power I possess. With this understanding and knowledge, you have no other choice but to be more confident. Because now you understand truly, yo, I have the force of God within me. I have the power to create life. Do you know how powerful that is, y'all? As fathers, y'all should really feel me right now. The power that we truly possess. Once you understand your worth, and shout out to Bishop T.D. Jakes. This correlates so well with this message right now. And his last message, one of his last messages he spoke that I've seen. Yo, he was expressing the fact that simply you are the gift. You, fellas, this physical presence, this being, you are the gift. What you possess is the gift. I heard him say, he heard a gentleman say that if he was to go and buy his children all the gift that they desired right now, and think about this right now in your own lives, fellas. Think about this in your own situation. If you was to go out and buy your kids every toy that they desired, every gift under the sun that they possibly could desire, and you bought it for them, and you told them, you can have all these toys, but you just can't see me no more. Those kids wouldn't take those toys. Why? Because the presents aren't the gift. It's the giver. This is why our life is so important, but the giver of our life is even more important. God is more important than our life because he is the giver of our lives. I don't want this life without God. The same way my kids don't want the presents that I give them without me being present to give it to them. And I know for a fact that all of your kids feel the same way, King. Hear me good. You are the gift. You are the present. Start treating yourself as such. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're going to be here on this earth as long as God desires you to be here. For the children that you need to be here for. Yo, shout out to my brother and one of my guys. I call him a silent mentor because he's not a mentor, but I follow him on YouTube, Myron Golden. He broke down Solomon's prayer to now I have embodied this prayer myself. And I'm going to share with you guys today. That prayer simply says, and I'm ad-libbing as I'm going along, but the prayer gist of it is this, is God give me the ability to do the things you've put me on this earth to do, to serve the people that you choose me, you put me on this earth to serve, that I serve them at my highest ability, that it may please you. I'm gonna say that again because I kind of chewed that up. God grant me the ability to serve the people you put me on this earth to serve, that it may benefit them and please you. Take that prayer and use it all throughout your life. So for the husbands out there, if you're looking to be a better husband, God, give me the ability to be the better husband to my wife, that it helps her be a better version of herself, that it pleases you. God, give me the ability to be the best father I am to my children, that it may help them be beneficial in society, and that it pleases you. In anything that you do, even in this podcast, God, help me be the best podcaster I can be, that I may serve the people you put me on this earth to serve, that it pleases you. See, once we embody that prayer, y'all, once we understand that everything we're doing on earth is for someone else, we understand that our life is so much more precious than we're treating it. And that would just go back to the topic of our sexual energy. Use it wisely because it's a gift. It's a gift from the giver of all gifts. It's the gift of life. And this energy, it's God's energy. Use it wisely, kings. Please use it wisely. So why is our sexuality as a man our greatest asset? First of all, like I said, I've been saying throughout this episode, it's our greatest asset because it brings forth life. So if it has the ability to bring forth life, what could it do for the life that is already here inside of? Think about that, fellas. Think about the next time you have that urge where you just want to release yourself. You want to have sex, or you just want to go masturbate. You just want to just do it just because. Think about the potential energy that you're giving away, right? You're just wasting the potential creativity, and especially for the men who are working in 9-to-5s and are always complaining to me in my DMs talking about, your RJ, I want to start a business. I just don't know what to do. I don't have the creative thought process to create something right now. The truth of the matter is there is nothing under the sun that you have to create that's going to be manifested in front of you. Everything is already under the sun. You just got to figure out what you're going to do with the energy that you already have within your body to go create it. So the truth is, you need the energy that you're wasting. So stop wasting that energy. Use that life force. Look at this. This is life force right here. This is life force energy right here, crawling all over me right now. So go out there and use this energy wisely, y'all, because as you can see, this is what that energy produces. More life. And the life currently is hurting the life force. Watch daddy's nuts, man. See what happens when you bring life force into the earth? They can hurt you in the life force area. Get out of here. All right, so that's the last part I'm gonna get to before I get up out of here is how do we regain control of our sexuality, right? Because the truth of the matter is a lot of us are just simply out of control with it. Simply. And bluntly put, we're simply out of control with our sexuality. We think that life is about pleasure and just relieving ourselves, but the truth of the matter is life isn't about pleasure, it's about purpose. I'm gonna say that one more time. Life is not about pleasure, it's about purpose. So once you start operating on purpose and in purpose, you'll realize there's certain pleasures in life that are not to be taken advantage of, right? There's certain pleasures in life that have their place and they should be used accordingly. And you don't have time to waste your time with seeking the pleasures because you're operating in your purpose. But the way you can get back to regaining your control is sexuality, right? If you're an individual out there and you got married, you're now a husband and your father, and you've just been out of control sexually, like, and your wife is almost tired of you And trust me when I tell you, I know the feeling. My wife will tell you this. Before I understood this, she was getting sick and tired of me all the time, wanting to hunch her and be all over her all the time. Yes, it's cool and it has its place, but after a while, it's flat out annoying, right? Just to be honest. But the way we can get our control back, guys, the way we are able to regain our power and regain control of our sexuality, number one, fasting and meditating, right? And me, I'm a firm believer if you're not doing something, you can't just jump into it because you want to. There's levels and steps to everything. We have to understand that as men. We can't just jump into any and everything and just go head first and just dive into it and think we're gonna have success. We need to take our time, right? You didn't get to where you are at this age and stage overnight. And you're not gonna break habits and break ways of thought process and mindsets overnight either. It's going to take you time to be able to get out of the thought process you had all these years to get to a new one that you're looking to create. So fasting, I would start off by saying intermittent fasting, right? Find some hours of the day, start off that way, and then work your way out to the days, right? Start with the hours, give yourself a certain amount of hours where you're going to allow yourself to eat, and then give yourself a certain amount of hours where you don't eat at all, right? I would say do the 8 and 16 because that's the model that I started out on, and I have seen great results and improvement from that. So it's really 8 hours where you choose 8 hours where you can eat in that 8 hour window, and after that 8 hour window, you can't have no food. It's a great way to start fasting. Meditating. Now, like I tell everyone, all the guys I coach, everybody that I mentor, your first and your last hour of your day is so important to you. It should only be consumed with you and God, right? So the first hour of your day, I prescribe that you just give yourself 10, 15 minutes. Start off small, 5, 10, 15 minutes of prayer and meditation, right? These are muscles you have to work. See, you can't just gonna say, I'm gonna pray and meditate for half an hour, and that's not something you do already. Because trust me when I tell you, it's not gonna work that way for you. Trust me from experience. I know you're gonna have to work that muscle up, right? Prayer and meditation is a muscle. You have to work that muscle up and be able to use it for longer periods of time throughout the way you work it out, the same way you do with your physical body. My two things is to pray and meditate. Number two of the things that you should do to regain power and control over your sexuality is exercise twice a day, right? Exercise twice a day. And if you can, put yourself through it, work out indoors once, and then the second workout of the day, have it outside. And the reason I'm saying work out twice a day is because we have so much energy within our body. If we don't know how to use it, we will what? We will abuse it. We will waste it. So in order for us not to abuse and waste it, we have to use it accordingly, right? So I prescribe working out once to twice a day. And then the last thing I would say to regain your control of your sexuality is learn something. Go build something. Go use the energy constructively. Go read something. Go start a business. Go join a group. Go join a men's league. Go join some activity. Go get physical. Go use the energy to be productive and not just waste your life force. And with the more you begin to focus on becoming more proficient and doing things in your life, you'll realize that your focus on sex and everything about that sexuality will drift off, and it will only come about to the forefront of your brain when it's actual time to use the things that we need to use sexually, right? We will then have thou sexuality under control. And let me tell y'all something. This is extremely hard. Pause. Right? I know I had to say it. I gotta pause that. This is not easy, right? Nothing that of which I just said for the last 30 minutes is easy. And I don't want to sit here and pretend like it is. Because right now on this podcast, I'm talking to you and you listen to me, it's practice time. It's easy. We don't have the sexual urges right now. We don't have that erection right now telling us, yo, go watch some porn right now. It's not telling you to go masturbate. Right now, we're practicing. This conversation is practice. Game time is when those urges hit. That's when it gets to be difficult, right? That's when we have to use all things that we've trained to become better. So with that being said, guys, my son is back again. Yes, Joe. What? I'm coming. I'm coming right now. I'm almost done, okay? So with that being said, guys, let's get down to the closing portion of the show and the words to my kids. This week, Josiah, I'm going to start with you. I want to start by saying, Young King, I love you. I appreciate you. You've shown me so many things about myself. And because of you, I've had to address a lot of my insecurities so I wouldn't force them onto you and to your life. So right now, son, I know that you're probably in a stage of life where you're moving and grooving and you're enjoying yourself, and you're just in a space where you're just living life. I just want you to understand that everything that I've taught you going forward, just know that it was in love, right? I'm not perfect. I don't know it all. I'm going to mess up. I've made some mistakes, and I'm probably going to mess up some more even after this recording, most likely. But the truth is, man, one thing I'll never mess up is the fact that I love you. I appreciate you because of you, I'm a better individual. Because of you, I want to be better. So thank you. Thank you for being my son. Thank you for being the dope individual that you are, the special individual, the just flat out lovable young man that you are. I love you and I appreciate you. And now to my phenomenal queen, Imani. Daddy loves you. Currently, right now, you are 7 years old and you are just a ball of wisdom. It's crazy because the more I talk to you these days, the more I'm just excited about what God is doing for you and how much understanding you're starting to have, and just the fact of how your brain works. I love that you're a bright spirit. I love that you're consistently bubbly and you're just a loving soul. Stay loving, baby girl. Don't let this world take your heart. Don't let the evils of the world taint your spirit. You are God's baby. You are my baby. I appreciate you and I love you. And there is nothing that daddy would ever do for you. And I'm going to do everything in my powers to make sure that you're protected, loved, and cared for your entire lifetime. Baby girl, daddy loves you. These closing thoughts from this week's podcast. My closing thoughts is this, guys. We have to understand that our sexuality is just more than busting nuts. Our sexual energy is an energy that God has given us to conquer and dominate the land. Yes, the good book also says, be fruitful and multiply. Yes, it does say that, but do it wisely, right? Understand that the life force that you have within your body is sacred. Treat it as such. Use it to become a better individual. Like I said during the episode, every erection does not need to be released. Use your sexual energy, use your life force to dominate the land and be the man that God has called you to be. So I pray that I said something in this episode that resonated. I pray that I said something in this episode that will help you be a better version of yourself and understand the quality and the real potential of power that you have within inside your body as a man. Go out there and understand that you have the power already inside of you. If you're a man out there that's looking for something outside of himself to validate you, understand this. There isn't no tree outside of a seed. Every time you see a tree, that is the result of what was inside of the seed already. Everything you need in King is already inside of you. The very life force, the very seed inside of you is the energy and the power you need to be the man that God has called you to. So don't waste your life force. Use it according to your plan and how God has called you to move forward in life. And trust me, it will propel you into your destiny in ways in which you couldn't imagine. I am living proof of it. The moment I began to realize and understand the value of my life force and use it accordingly, everything around me began to change. And I'm telling you this for a purpose and a reason, because I know it could change things in your circumstance, in your situations. Okay? So understand that this has been a podcast episode designed specifically for you. I'm talking directly to you because only you understand what I'm talking about, fam. You know what happens in these nuts of ours. You know what happens in this body of ours, in this brain of ours. But we have to understand and learn how to control it. And once we learn to control and harness this power, we would truly be the men and the individuals and the leaders and the fathers and the husbands that God has desired us to be, and to lead our families and our communities and societies into greatness. So with that being said, please, family, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. I adore the fact that you guys come on each and every week looking for me. I appreciate each and every one of you guys out there take the time to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this podcast out with an individual. Share with a young man. I hope that I said something that will benefit you as an individual and to anyone else that you share this podcast with. I really hope that you go out there and use the information and let it be a benefit to your life. And with that being said, good people, I'm about to get up out of here because my son will not let me be great. He's just going to keep calling me and have me come out of his office right now. So I got to go be dad. So with that being said, to all the fathers out there, understand this. To the world, you are just a dad, right? That's all you are. But to your family, you're the world. Don't let that go over your head, okay? But until the next time that we see you in these podcast streets, be good to yourself and the ones around you. And if you can't be good to the ones around you, that's okay. Just get those people from around you. Yo, this is RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman, and this has been another dope episode of the Imperfect Fathers Podcast. Y'all be blessed, because we will. Peace, King.